How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode 27 of the Sick Podcast with your boy, That Leafs Fan. We do have a special guest coming on. One thing I did learn is when the Leafs are on a win streak, I think it's best I don't talk about it until it's over. But before we get into any of that, producer, roll the tape. Let's have a good one.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With That Leafs Fan.
They score! They score! Holy Mackinac, they score! Morgan Riley! Mo Riley! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round! Do you believe this? Holy Mackinac!
The sickest Toronto Maple Leafs podcast. It's gonna be sick.
What's going on, guys? And more importantly, what's going on, Mass? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
As fresh as the weather outside, which is 13 degrees for some reason.
You know,
in
a lot
February.
has happened since I've last been on this podcast, including
Yes.
I basically met the entire team. Are you aware of that? Buddy, you're in the dirt. You have no clue what's happened. So you remember their outdoor practice?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay, so I went. And I basically figured out their path they take to get to the arena. And I just waited there.
So good.
I
That's so good.
I just fucking mauled them for pictures. I got Mitch on the way in, I got Liljegren, I got Nyes. On the way out, they take their time more with the fans. So on their way out, there's like a huge waiting spot that they just walk down this like alleyway, I guess, like lane. And I basically got everyone except for Riley, Giordano, who wasn't there, Yarncroke, who I don't think was there, and Camp
Probably.
and McCabe. But I got Nylander's signature on my jersey. I got Tavares' signature on my jersey. I got Marner's signature on my jersey. I got a picture with Matthews. Didn't get a picture with John. John kind of zoomed out for some reason. But yeah,
Probably
if
had
you're
like
if
some
you're
family matter.
if you're in the Toronto area and you're trying to meet your heroes, you definitely have to go to the outdoor practice next year. It's a not miss opportunity.
I'll just drive down. Yeah,
If you're there, I'll give you my secrets and we'll go together. I'll make sure you meet them.
100%. Yeah, well, not only first of all that's very cool. I'm very jealous.
Yeah, I have a picture with God himself. How cool is that?
Matthews? That's
Yep.
really cool. That's really cool. Lot to talk about since the last. I mean, I feel like the last time we spoke was like
They
where
weren't
were
doing
we?
this good, I'll tell you that.
No, not even close. Okay. So I'm just gonna get straight into it. The Leafs 7-game win streak ends. First of all, I was very surprised. Not well, no, I was very surprised, honestly. The 7-game win streak is the longest in the Matthews era, which to me is like bonkers.
To me, it
Because
makes sense.
for the
I'll
I
tell
don't know
you
why I get
why
it,
it
but I
made
get it.
sense to me. I'll tell you why it made sense to me. The Leafs, they have been good. They have been a really, really strong regular season team. But I don't recall them being consistent enough to pull off like an 8-game win streak, a 9-game win streak, a 10-game win streak. If I had to guess at when they got cut off because of their inconsistencies, yeah, 7 would probably be the number. Like in the bubble season, I was like, hang on, Jack Campbell got 10 wins straight, but the Leafs did not win 10 straight. Jack Campbell did not play all 10. There was a different goalie in there, so it was like, oh, Jack played 6, and then someone came in, they lost, and then Jack won 4 straight. So like it makes sense that that was the longest win streak, and I hopefully hope that next year, the year after that, we continue in the Matthews era, they can actually get to 10. I feel like that it's a
Hear me
small
out.
bar, but they should get there.
Hear me out. I really don't. Well, first of all, I feel like everyone and like their dog was prepared. Like the moment we beat the Avalanche, I'm like, you know what? I'm ready for it. We're due.
Yeah,
We're like, you know
you
the
beat
way
the
like,
Knights, then you beat the Avalanche. At some point, you're like, yeah, this has to end. I'm satisfied now.
and it's kind of like term papers due. There's a due date on it. It needs to get done. Just and obviously, like the way we pumped Vegas on home ice, there was like less than no chance that we would have won yesterday's game. Like,
Yeah,
and
there
like
was
I
no
even
way Vegas is gonna let that happen again. There was just no shot.
so I went out with my girlfriend we went to go eat at this like Japanese restaurant. It's really amazing, by the way. Shout out to Gyukaku, amazing restaurant in Montreal. I love it. Very good prices too. Um, I literally went there. I think I checked the score 3 times throughout the night. And after the first, I saw 3-1. I'm like, okay, it's a game, but like, meh. And then I checked again when it was 4-2. And I was like, oh, okay, we're going to lose the game, but it was a game. And then we lost 6-2. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Couple of things. I'll explain why I think this is good. So I was talking to my dad about this on Sunday. And I just looked over at him. I'm like, damn, like, like that's when this one, like, I figured out that like 7 was the record for the current era we're in. And I'm like, Pa, like, how crazy would it be? Like, like the Oilers just nearly went on a crazy run and everything. Like, imagine the Leafs beat it. He's like, absolutely not. Like, I don't. And when he said absolutely not, like, I thought he meant, no, it's not going to happen, which I was in agreement with. But then he's like, no, I don't want it to happen. And I was, for a second, I was about to ask him, I was going to be like, well, why? And then I was like, then he followed up by saying, followed up by saying, no, you're good. He followed up by saying, I don't want them to, because then it'll make them kind of like, it'll put an unnecessary extra pressure or expectation on them that I just don't think that, this is what he was saying, is like that I just don't think they need. And I was like, that's a valid point. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you.
I know how to explain it to you. So basically, every time it's not just about win streaks either with just a team. It's every time there's a streak that's like over like 10 games or something. Every time there's like attention brought towards a point streak, a goal streak, an assist streak. Now that player is suddenly thinking, oh, well, I mean, I doubt they're actually thinking about it, but eventually the pressure sets in of like, yeah, I gotta get a point. Like I'm pretty sure someone had, I think it was Nylander earlier this season, had a point streak, and they were like down to like 3 more minutes left in the game, and they were just feeding him constantly, just feeding him. And I'm like,
It
okay,
worked.
well, this is great. It's gonna work, but like at some point you have to, play hockey. Like I
Yeah,
love Mitch Marner. He's fantastic. He's a great playmaker, but sometimes I wish he shot the puck. But I understand it when you have Austin Matthews in as your center. Like your job is to look for Matthews, but you have to understand that because he is so hot right now, players are starting to double team him, and that's why you have to
triple.
shoot more. Triple
They're
team,
starting to
exactly.
triple.
The reason you want to know why Bertuzzi got a hat trick against Colorado is because they every time the Leafs had a power play, they're just like, okay, block the seam to Matthews, and so everyone was like, block the seam to Matthews, and then there's just a guy down low in front of your net wide open because you don't
There's
have
just
enough guys to cover
there's just
everyone.
nephew Tyler there with like a missing tooth. He's like, hey,
Yeah,
come here, come
exactly.
here, come here.
Like Mitch is like, "Oh, Austin. Oh, I'm trying to get it to Austin. Like I'm just forcing this pass." And then he looks slightly over to his left. And he's like, "Oh, Bert's just wide open."
Yeah.
It's either
And
Georgiev gets the poke check or it's a goal.
how stupid is it? Like this was coming. So there was like a whole, like, I think it was 19 games that Bertuzzi hadn't scored, but like the guy was getting chances and chances.
You knew this was coming. Like if you believe in regression to the mean, which I do, you knew this was coming. And if this continues, he might lead the team in playoff goals, which I hope he does because he was a beast in the
He did
playoffs
it
in
in
Boston.
Boston. Well, I don't know if he led.
Exactly.
I don't
I
think
don't
he
know if he
led.
led, but he had 7 points in 10 games, which is really good.
Wasn't it 7? No, it wasn't 7 goals. I thought it was 7 goals.
Let me check. I'm pretty sure if it was goals, that's even better.
That's insane. But the point is that I think this streak, they needed this because, to be honest, it was cutting it way too close to the playoff race. These 7 games, not secured, but pretty
10
much.
points, 5 goals, 5 assists.
That's insane. This push kind of just separated us from the middle of the pack, not quite to the top. Like the Bruins and the Panthers and the Rangers are still kind of in a league of their own. And then like right under is like the Leafs, the Hurricanes, and then it's like, okay, 8 teams fighting for 3 spots. Like, but we just got out of that.
Yeah, man,
Like
we
some
were in the
people are
wild
gonna,
card before this.
dude, I was like, but now, if I'm not mistaken, I think we are exactly, I want to say 9 or 10 points in, Pat, like ahead of the Devils with maybe a
Yeah,
game
yeah.
with a. So it's the Leafs need like a subpar 500 hockey to secure it. I don't want them to. To be honest, look, I don't give a shit where they finish. I don't care if they're not winning the division. They're probably not getting home ice advantage. Honestly, like I don't think it's going to happen. I don't care whether they finish third, and I really don't even care if they fall into a wild card spot because there's not going to be an easy matchup. You're either getting the Panthers, the Bruins, or the Rangers. That's where we're at. There's
Yep.
no other. It's not
I
happening.
mean, I know which team I'd rather play, but I think that's the most unlikely scenario. To put a
want
bow on the
Boston.
whole, to put a
I
bow
want
on
to
the
play
whole streak.
Boston
Yeah, I want to play Boston too. To put a bow on the whole streak thing, it's good. You know, they racked up 14 points in 7 games. That's fantastic. That's what you
without
need.
Riley. 5 of them.
They were exactly without Riley. Didn't really make a difference because the Atlantic just the Atlantic, and they just keep winning. You want your team to be rolling. That's good, but you don't want them to necessarily feel invincible. This loss to the Vegas Golden Knights, I think, is going to be a blessing in disguise because it's a reminder to the GM, to the coach, to the team that
They need to
hey,
make-
we're not done here. Like just because we won 7 straight doesn't mean like our team is set for the playoffs. Like I swear to God,
Yeah,
if Brad does nothing at the deadline,
you
we're
will.
getting
You
swept.
will.
We're just getting swept. Like that's just the way it is.
I was talking about this with a couple of buddies, and I think Steve Dangle had mentioned it too, and like I was like, this is so true. The span of Riley not being there, um, really showed what we need. Like, dude, Simon Benoit, Jake McCabe, third defensive pairing. I love that. I love it.
Yep. Yep.
Brody actually playing on his side is like,
Yep.
oh, there you are. I haven't seen you be
Like
you
you
in
look
like a
like
year and a
PJ
half.
Brody again.
Dude, I was like, he went from being like unusable to like, oh, okay,
But
he's
you know,
actually good.
it's so puzzling because nothing changed. Like Riley Brody has been so dominant up until this season,
It
and
did change.
nothing's changed. Like Riley Brody, Morgan
Here's what
played the
happened.
left, Brody played the right.
Here's what happened. This is why Leaf fans get so frustrated. And I think I spoke about this on the last episode. So the problem with the Leafs, similar to what you said, is that at some point, the star power on the team on paper can make the team itself feel, in a sense, invincible or always in it because, like, let's say the Leafs are like, it's the moment the Leafs scored 4-2 yesterday, I was like, wait a second. Like, I've
Yeah,
seen
you can
crazier
never really
things.
count him out. You can never really
I
count
was
him out.
like, I've seen crazier things. Like this season, I've seen crazier things. So like, why not? But that mindset is horrible because it's like you lost this game the moment like the game started because like you were always, and it's fine, like they're not going to win them all. Like I'm really not mad about the loss yesterday. Like I said, I like, and I agree with you. I think it is a blessing in disguise. You know, it reminds you like, okay, we won 7 straight. We are not undefeatable. We are not the best team in the NHL by any means, and we can definitely use reinforcements. However, like we've seen a step. So back to what I was saying about the difference when Riley was out of the lineup. I think a lot of people are also undermining the missing piece of Calle Yarncroke, if you want to call it. Everyone was forced to elevate their game in the sense where it's like we can no longer toss absolute egos in the middle of the ice and shoot ourselves in the foot 3 times and then just hope that Matthews saves the game or Nylander saves the game or Marner saves the game, which I get it. There's going to be people, well, that's what they're paid to do. Yes. However, this is still a hockey game. This is still a hockey team, not an individual milestone chase. Like, I don't care. I do want Matthews to hit 70. That would be insane. But that's not the goal here, like at all. It really,
And he'll
because at
tell
the
you
end of
that
the day,
himself. He'll tell you that
if he
himself.
gets
His first game, he scored 4 goals. He said, "I trade them all to get the win." Doesn't care.
but like that's and I hope what he's saying, I do believe that. I do
Yeah,
believe that.
I do too.
And so what this team was forced to do with Riley being out, and like I'll make this go full circle, is that guys like Benoit, guys like McMahon, Domi,
Holmberg.
Bertuzzi, like Holmberg, like these, and even the guys like especially towards like the bottom of the lineup, you can't fuck up anymore because now if you screw up, like look at Ridley Gregg, fuck that guy, Noah Gregor,
Mhm.
he made a few costly mistakes, hasn't seen the ice in like 3 to 4 games. And
Yep.
that's where we're at though, because you see how much tighter the team plays. And this is again why I find that the Leafs are frustrating because it's been every team goes through it, but it's just like if this team played the way they played without Riley, but with Riley in the lineup, like
And
we're
it's not
always
just
in it.
Riley. It's not just Riley. It's any member of our star power core
Yeah.
5. Like for me, it's a positive development that I've seen in this team because year in, year out, ever since like 2017, 18, 19, we've idolized the Boston Bruins and the Colorado Avalanche and the Tampa Bay Lightning for their ability to just be like, okay, someone's out, next man up, nothing changes, we go. The Leafs haven't had that, but they have it this season, and it's a really, really, really strong aspect of the team game that I love, and I want our team to have that. Doesn't matter who's out, keep going because the schedule doesn't stop. Doesn't matter who's injured, schedule doesn't stop. You got to keep going, especially in the playoffs. If someone gets injured, I have some confidence that it won't phase them that much.
And the thing is, like, look, Bobby McMahon probably went on one of the hottest streaks of his season, maybe in his
His
career.
shooting
I don't know.
percentage was insane.
Yeah, it was stupid. Like that's not
He was
gonna
shooting
keep up.
45%.
Like that won't keep up. Like Tyler Bertuzzi's current goal pace, like it's not gonna keep up. Like you said, everything kind of a regression to the mean. It'll it'll balance itself out. So now we're seeing guys like who were really cold who are gonna go up, and guys who are now really hot. Like everything will.
Yeah,
But what
Austin
it
was really hot,
shows,
hasn't scored in 2 games.
yeah, like you see, like that. You know how good you have to be for people to consider shit. Like you haven't scored in 2 games. Like that's,
Dude,
anyways.
I get nervous when he hasn't scored in 2 games. I'm like, Austin, you have 70 to hit. What are you doing? What are you doing?
And you see, but like again, like I'm not worried about guys like that. Like, so what I was saying again to bring it full circle is that the Leafs have to elevate their game because like we're not going to sit here and kid ourselves that like yeah we're a very we have a crazy depth team. Like no, we do not. We are not the Vegas Golden Knights. We are not the Boston Bruins, where like it's just kind of like a 4-line play. However, I think we have a little more depth than we had perceived because other guys have stepped up. Tavares being on the 3rd line is probably the greatest thing to happen to this team.
Yeah.
And it's no disrespect to him because he just doesn't have the speed, but he's a great, great, great player. We need that speed. We need that like
We need him to be healthy, and right now he's not. And I'll be very disappointed if he plays against Arizona. I don't think there's a reason you should be playing in February when you're injured. Sit out, rest, get healthy for the playoffs, please, Captain.
And so what I find this streak, I'd say like it gave us like info. The info that I got from that is that like I think people might have looked at it the wrong way. Like you're watching a game, you're like, holy shit, Liljegren Brody as your first pairing. Holy shit, Jake McCabe and Simon Benoit as your pairing. It's like, no, what this showed me is that these pairings work together.
Yep.
So the real thing we're missing is a partner for Riley.
It's never been more clear to me of any season as what we need, and it's a partner for Riley. And it's exactly the same type of partner that he's needed all his career. It's the Shen type. It's the Lyubushkin type. It's the stay-at-home defenseman.
The
Honestly,
Tanev.
Benoit could work, but then you need to replace Benoit with
No,
someone.
I do
Like,
not want Benoit and McCabe
yeah,
to
you don't change anything that's been working. Liljegren, Brody, Benoit, McCabe, Riley, who? That's what you figure out. Giordano comes in sometimes in the playoffs. Who knows? But
Giordano should be a 7th defenseman.
yeah, he's a 7th. You
should
rotate
not
him in
be-
whenever a defense can't go.
He can't be the partner full time. Yeah, it can't be. You need
Yeah.
him. Like, look, we're gonna get injuries. It's gonna happen. He'll eventually make his way in, and it's no disrespect to him. He is literally the oldest player in the NHL, if I'm not mistaken, right now.
Yeah,
He has
he's
like
the
most
oldest skater
walks
for sure.
in the tracked NHL history, like when they started actually keeping track of statistics. He's great, but he can't be like he
He
can't
can't
he has
be
to
your
be the
6.
plug-in.
He can't be in there. Yeah.
No,
He's your plug-in
And-
for when you realize your team's not blocking enough shots and you're not happy in the playoffs. It's basically what it is.
he's the plug-in when he's like a specialist kind of thing. You plug him in when you need to. Like, okay, we got a couple penalties in a row, plug him in there. Okay, we need a bit more like shut down, like vet decisions, like not stupidity passes. Okay, get him in there.
Penalty
But, like,
kills leaking
start
too
of the
much
night-
shots, plug him in there.
Start of the night, no chance. No
Yeah.
chance. Get a guy to put next to Riley. That's what we need. Because again, the top 6, I think, right now has been flowing. Like the first line, like look, Matthews, Marner, Nyes. People forget that Matthew Nyes is a rookie. Like,
Yeah,
everyone's like,
it's
Nyes
definitely
has been
showing.
cold. Nyes
Definitely
has been
showing.
cold. But it's fine. Like, it's good. We need that. We need to have him there because dude, when was the last time we had a rookie on our team that
Zach
played
Hyman.
the whole season and was actually like, no, like, I mean, rookie, like the moment he was in the system, he was playing. Zach Hyman was on the Marlies.
Playing
Dude,
or
it was
like
Matthews.
playing in the top 6?
No, like drafted in the system, skips the AHL, goes straight to the NHL. Dude, that hasn't happened since like Matthews.
No, yeah, that happened all in the same year. Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Hyman,
Nylander was
Zaitsev, Soshnikov, like they were all rookies.
no,
Nick
but
Nylander was in the
Nylander,
AHL. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Marner, I don't think Marner, maybe a
I
couple
don't
of games.
think he ever. I gotta check that now because now you've intrigued.
Like
me.
Matthew Nyes literally did not play a game for the Marlies, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I don't think he played
That's
a single
correct.
game. So the point I'm trying to make is that guys like him, for example, I'm not worried about him. Like, if we're already like
No, he
having
never played for the
arguments
Marlies.
like, shit, he had a good game in the first line. Oh, he had a bad game. Oh, he's been a bit like the fact that there's already expectations on a rookie that has literally went from college to like first line. I'm not worried about you. Like,
Yeah, everyone treats
people
this
have
guy like
lost
he was
the
our
plot.
first overall, like he was our first round pick or something. He
He was in a
wasn't.
second round
It was a late second round steal by Wes Clark.
all day.
Like
Not worried
there's
about
no
that.
there's no real expectations. Like you just find your game, be the go in the corner guy, feed Matthews, feed
He'll
Marner, you're
be-
fine.
His style of play will be useful in the playoffs because the game
He does
slows
scare
down.
me sometimes though. He does do some high percentage risky plays at the blue line. He's like, a guy's coming on me, I'm gonna try and deke him.
In the season, that's fine. I really don't care.
Yeah, but if
Dude,
he
he
does
came
it during the
in-
playoffs, you cry.
He came into the playoffs last year, and like keep in mind, like, he played 4 regular season games after having a season in college.
Yep.
Walks into the league. I'm not worried about him. I'm really not worried about him. Like, that is the least
He
of
looked
my worries.
fantastic. He looked fantastic last year in the playoffs.
And he's had his moments this year. He's had his bad games this year, like anyone else. We need
Mhm.
guys under contract like him. Like, at that price, there's not a better player that the Leafs are gonna get for that. For like, we don't have any more ELCs on the team. Like, you know what I mean? So we take that every day. I'm not worried about him. That's not the problem.
Yeah.
I do not want to see. I know he scored yesterday. I think he's been good for what he is. I do not want to see anyone else taken off the lineup besides Reeves when Yarncrow comes back. Like, it's not even close. I don't want to hear it.
There's a clear divide. Honestly, I would consider Robertson just because he doesn't require waivers, and I think that's the easy pick. But like, he also hasn't been, a standout player as of late. And I think if you were going by like,
he's been.
I
like-
haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Like he's playing with Tavares. You have to have like you got to be open. And the thing with Robertson that always pisses me off is he can never get his shot off. He's been doing that. At least he's been getting his shot off. But to me, he hasn't been like a good forechecker like McMahon has been. Like he hasn't been strong in
Okay,
his defensive zone. He's just kind of been like there, you know?
Robertson or Reeves.
Don't make me do that.
That's my
Okay,
point. No, but that's my point.
but
Like
as of recent, would I be insane to say Robertson? Like the fourth line has been probably one of the best iterations of our fourth line we've ever seen this season.
yeah,
I don't
but
expect to keep up because Reeves can't sustain that
dude,
level of play.
in the playoffs, like we're not talking playing against the Coyotes anymore. We're talking about playing Bruins, Rangers, and Panthers. I don't want
But
Reeves.
if you're playing Panthers, don't you want Reeves?
Nope.
The fuck did we
Dude,
get him for then?
I don't know. I don't know. And it's no disrespect to him. Like, look, we could use him. He can be the extra forward that, like I said with Giordano, okay, the game's getting rough. Bennett's being a bit of an idiot. Cousins is being stupid. Okay, Reeves, go.
I can't believe you're making
I
a
don't
defense
need him
on
on the
Reeves
ice
right now.
every fourth line shift, bro. There's no point. He's
Well, no,
not.
that's the thing with the playoffs. Your lines are going to change game in, game out. There's going to be rotations, but the way I see it right now, like if the playoffs started tomorrow, I wouldn't change the fourth line. I think a good fourth
No.
line is really key in the playoffs. So like if I'm slotting in Yarncroke to this line,
Hear me
I'm
out.
probably taking out Robertson.
Hear me out. What if you leave the lines the same, take out Reeves, and put Yarncroke on the fourth line just to ease him back in?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably what they end up doing. I
It's
The Leafs lineup to me is really like polarizing because in the offensive zone, these lines work. They work really well. But a big thing I saw in the Vegas game and a lot of games before that is in the defensive zone, oh boy, they're a freaking fire drill. Like Bertuzzi, Domi, Nylander, really, really fun. But my God, they get hemmed in a lot.
I'm
Same
okay
with
with that.
McMahon, Tavares, Robertson.
Well, okay, see, that's why I think that
But maybe that's just
eventually
Tavares not being at 100%, right?
and I think eventually, like Yarncroke becomes like the safety net there
Yeah.
where he
Yarncroke
comes
becomes the
in.
babysitter, but then what happens to the lines, right? So
Not
let's do
babysitter,
that.
not babysitter. He he now makes it a dynamic line.
Yeah,
Like
so okay,
Robertson is
so
offense,
who
and that's it.
you're taking
I see your
Yarncroke on
point
the
about
third
taking
line?
Robertson out of the lineup. Like I see it. Like it's not a stretch. Like
It's
it's
not a
very
shot
possible.
on the player. Like I think he's played well to earn his stay. I don't know if I trust him yet in a playoff type environment.
Yeah, he has a lot to prove. That's for sure.
And I
But
hate the whole like old guy like mentality, but it is true. Like you do need some size in the playoffs, and I'd rather have McMahon than Robertson.
yeah, no, you're not taking McMahon out of the lineup. No chance. I don't want to. I'm not engaging in any of those conversations. I'm
Like a
just,
guy with that size, a guy with that physicality, a guy with that offensive instinct, no. Like
dude. He's
just no.
no. He's just
He's looking like
he's
young Zach Hyman. No.
he's just good. Like
Yeah.
he's not great, but he's just good. And at that
That's all he has to
contract,
be.
exactly. Don't need anything else from you. You're good. Stay there. I don't need you to score. I don't even need you to score a goal every 3 like not necessary. Although it would be very awesome because Bobby
Mhm.
McMatthews is awesome.
Yeah.
Um, it's just we don't need it. Well, not that we don't need it. Like it's not my priority. Like if Bobby McMahon doesn't score, I'm not like oh shit, like blow it
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's not you know what I'm saying.
Okay,
So
so you tell me which lineup do you like better in a playoff series? You like Nyes, Matthews, Marner, Bertuzzi, Domi, Nylander, McMahon, Tavares, Yarncroke, Holmberg, Camp, Reeves, or do you like Nyes, Matthews, Marner, Bertuzzi, Domi, Nylander, McMahon, Tavares, Robertson, Holmberg, Camp, Yarncroke? If the playoffs started tomorrow, because we don't know how Reeves is going to play by game 82.
I look. I think against Boston, Reeves is completely useless. Completely,
Yeah,
like
I tend to agree.
completely.
But again, if he's playing like this, you can't change the fourth line
No, true.
because good depth will dismantle the Bruins.
The Panthers.
I can't believe you've made me defend Ryan Reeves. That's what you've done today.
No, but it's just, you know what it is? I don't want any of those like I don't want any of those like bullshit quotes of like let the like I don't care.
Oh,
Look,
Reeves has to stop talking. Like I don't
like
care for anything he says.
no, like, and I'm not even saying that. It's just like I don't even want to hear the like I don't know how to explain it. It's just like Ice the best team. I don't care who it is. I don't care the contracts. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I really don't. If he'll actually get in the game and be like really like the way he's been playing since I want to say the Vegas game of
Mhm.
last week,
Yep.
but the way he played against Vegas and Colorado, I think he didn't play that bad.
Yep.
If you
The
can play
fourth
like
line's been
that,
effective.
if it can be effective, yeah, I'm all for it. Don't
Yeah,
change it. If
and that's what
Reeves
I'm
is gonna
defending.
solely be put out there to punch someone in the face, I don't need you there. There's
I'm
Jake
not
McCabe
defending
that
that.
can do that, and he can
Yeah.
actually play. There's Simon Benoit who can do that, and he's good for what he is. There's, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Oh,
just
dude, I got no time for the people on Twitter who's like, "Oh, yeah, but Reeves, his presence, it scares the off." No, it doesn't.
bullshit.
Like, it
Bro,
just
he got
doesn't.
leveled by a guy of like 5'9". Like, it's
You
not
think that's gonna
2008
stop Nick
anymore.
Cousins, Sam Bennett, Matthew Tkachuk from doing whatever the hell they want? No, it's not.
Can he cave their faces in? Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah,
But the chances are, if that's what you're worried about, you're fucked.
yeah. Like, you're not gonna
You're trying
soften up
to
the Panthers.
no, it's not happening.
The
Because
second the opposition is making you think about anything other than scoring goals, you're screwed. Because that's how
you
you win
lost
the
the
game.
plot.
I'm
Yeah, you
sorry,
need
that's
a
how you
map.
do it.
You need a map, you're lost. Like it's like that's not the like the team has gotten a lot more resilient in terms of defending themselves. I thought that's been great.
Yeah, more
Tenacity.
scrums,
And
more
just
willingness to get in there.
we have like 5 buntings on the team now.
Yeah,
And they range from skilled to like stay-at-home defensemen and everything in between. But we have
yeah.
like 5 of them. We have Domi, we have Bertuzzi, we have Benoit, we have McCabe, and just like a mixture of other guys all around at random points. Like we
Other
have
guys
that
who are
now.
now more willing to get into it. Like, Nylander was pissed the other night in Arizona. Loved
But
that.
so like, and I'm not even putting Nylander in that conversation. Like I'm just simply saying like we have more. We don't just have like one guy now. Like you can't
Yeah.
target anyone anymore. It's not like we need to go after Bunting and then we control the game. We need to go. No, it's because like you want to go after Bertuzzi. Okay, well then you're gonna have to deal with Domi on the ice. Like, are you gonna beat the shit out of him? Maybe, but the guy's definitely gonna put up a fight.
Mhm.
Okay, you nailed one of our forwards. Okay, Jake McCabe will take care of that. That's no problem. Oh, someone hit Jake McCabe. Don't worry, Simon Benoit's gonna like put you into like the second bowl of the arena. Like it's there's not just one guy. It's kind of like the Panthers. It's like for them, it was next man up. It's like, oh, Nick Cousins was being a piece of shit. Oh, it's fine, Sam Bennett. Oh, someone went to go hit Sam Bennett. Ah, there's Matthew Tkachuk. Like they had levels to it, and in the playoffs, you can't call everything. So that's why I think, and I said it at the beginning of the year before the season even started, the Leafs are going to have a worse record than they did last year, but they're actually
Mhm.
going to be a better team going into the playoffs because for once, I think they're at least working towards a team that works better in the playoffs than they do in the season. Because this year, for once, we have not seen like the best version of the Leafs in the season because I just don't think they're built that way. They're not just built like
The best team isn't built yet.
it's not vanilla anymore. It's
Yeah.
not that it's not like statistically beautiful anymore. It's more of like okay, I don't exactly know what to like how to explain it, but the McCabe Benoit line is like awesome. I don't really know how to explain it, but the Bertuzzi, there's just like that ugh to it. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like it's things that are beyond stats and beyond paper, which is the way. And again, the Leafs, I'm not putting them as top cup contenders or anything like that. I think they're in the middle of the pack mix for playoff teams. I don't think they're the favorite, and I don't think they're the worst. I think they're somewhere like anywhere between like
You know, you wanna
7
know a
and
fun
10.
thing? You wanna know a fun thing? Usually when you look at, like, you try and predict who's gonna win the Stanley Cup. You don't usually go best teams in the league because you know some stupid shit's gonna happen. You don't usually go worst team in the league because you know, okay, well, let's be real, that's not gonna happen again. I'm not saying it, but the Leafs are looking like they're primed to win a cup right now. They just got to add at the deadline. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. The year I
They
meet the team is the year they win the cup. That'd be
they're
great.
I think they put themselves in a position to of to I think they put themselves in a position enough to where the GM is like, okay, they've earned the bolstering
I
of
swear to
the
God, if he
lineup.
doesn't, I'll lose my mind.
I'm just look, at the end of the day, everyone knows what needs to be done. There's one guy who's in charge of that. I'm not even gonna sit here and stress about it because look, if you don't get it done, you're not gonna be here any very long. Like that's
Yeah,
just the way it
yeah.
is. And so I'm not worried about that. I think at the end of the day, love him or hate him, Tree Living does make moves. Are they always good? No, they're either really good or really bad, but he does
Mhm.
make moves. So for that, I'm not worried. I just hope he makes the right decision and doesn't completely overpay. Although trading at the deadline, you're already overpaying. It's just how it
Yep,
is. It's asset
yep.
management. It's people. It's kind of like you need that. I don't.
Supply and
Give
demand.
me whatever I want and like an extra like cup of coffee and like we'll talk kind of thing. And because there's another guy offering me 2 cups of coffee, do you want to give me three? Like so, it's kind of that negotiate. It's whatever anyone's willing to pay. So
Mhm.
in for that regard, I'm not worried. But back to the thing about Toronto. Look, do we have the best goaltending in the league at all? We have league average goaltending.
Good
But
enough.
the goalie, exactly, they give us a chance. And to anyone who was ripping Samsonov yesterday, kick fucking rocks. I don't want to
Yeah, are
hear
you
it.
blind? The team abandoned him.
Not only that, it's like we're talking about, and I'm guilty of it too. We're talking about a guy that was literally unplayable who just
Oh
went
yeah.
9-1-1. People pulling
Oh
out the
yeah.
save percentage, this, that, yeah. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. The guy literally pointed the middle finger and he's like, fuck you guys. And good for him. And
In the
Toronto
Toronto
had the
market too. You know how hard that is to do?
oh, dude, it's insane. And the guy's like sensitive, you can tell. He's emotional. He's like Marner in the regard of like he'll take the hits and it'll actually affect him and like everyone knows it. And the way the Leafs handled it, especially after seeing how Campbell was handled in Edmonton, like to the credit of Toronto, they did a great job. They
Yep.
had they took something unusable and turned it into 9-0-1.
Yep.
Like nothing. Kudos to Toronto for taking care of that.
9-0-1, which was probably league average right about now because league
Wait,
scoring's gone way up.
and not only no 9-0-1 record, like
Oh
9
yeah,
wins,
yeah. Sorry, yeah.
and no, it's not, like, and again, am I saying Samsonov Vesna? Like, no, not even close. What I'm saying is he's giving us a chance, and for the way this team is built, that's all we can ask for.
Yeah,
Will
let's
it
not forget
playable?
who was the goalie when we won a freaking round last year. Like, come on.
That's so. Samsonov is playable. Martin Jones is playable. Joseph Woll is playable. Which of those three is going to start? I don't care. Ride the hot hand. Don't
You
care who
keep
it is.
all three.
And don't even show me the stats. I don't care. I don't care about save percentage. I don't care. Who do you put in nets and who gives us a chance? Yeah, that guy. Go for it. And they're all good. I don't
Exactly.
mind any of them. Because even Martin Jones has proven like he can be playing. Like, why not?
He fell off
Why
a bit, but yeah, I don't think that's what he's going to be. Like he can be a
he's gonna
steady veteran presence who gives you a shot to win.
exactly. And that's all again for the way this team is built, that's all you can ask for. We don't have a Shesterkin, we don't have a Demko, we don't have an Ottinger. It's not happening. Okay, it's not. But as you can see in the playoffs, doesn't fucking matter. You Aiden Hill was showed up to be the greatest goaltender of all time in the playoffs, and then the Leafs scored 4 on him to pull, or 3 actually because he was pulled, and like you know what I mean. And then he played a great
It's
game right
not it's
after.
not about it's not about who's the best. It's about who's playing the best right now.
And who does the
That's all
team
the
play
playoffs
good in
is.
front of? Who does the
Yeah.
team play solid? And that's what counts. And so for that, I'm not worried. I genuinely think none of it makes sense, and that's why it makes sense
Mhm.
for the team. And but if you look at it, look at the Panthers last year. None of it made sense, and that's why it made sense.
Yep.
Look at the Bruins last year. Everything made sense, and that's why it didn't make sense. It's hockey. Like it's not like Champions League soccer, for example, or the NFL. Like if you told me at the beginning of the playoffs, yeah, final two is going to be Chiefs and 49ers. Okay, sure. Final four is going to be Chiefs, 49ers, Ravens and Lions, I'll be like, oh, the Lions got there. Wow, yeah, but the others, yeah, I buy that all day. The NHL just doesn't work that way.
You
It's
can't
not
predict hockey. You just can't.
no, because in the playoffs, it's no longer statistical. It is in part because everything is statistical. However, there's now is where it's kind of like it's a mental game, and
That's where
it's
the intangibles kick in.
exactly, and that's why I think guys like the ones that we're having is at least for I'm talking Leafs standard right now. I'm not again. I don't want anyone misconstruing what I'm saying and saying that I'm calling the Leafs Cup contenders and favorites. No, we're absolutely not favorites, but we do have a shot. It's not crazy to say that we're in the middle of the pack here. Like I'd say, yeah, middle of the pack. Like we're par for, everyone has a shot, and like, I mean, why not us kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you took away the logo and you put this exact roster on any other team,
Pretty sure
everyone's
we
gonna
would
be
have
like,
cup by now.
it's a stretch, but maybe you never know.
Yeah.
Especially after
All right.
seeing the Panthers last year. You know what I mean? So it's at the end of the day, like I think that for the Leafs, the Leafs as of right now, it doesn't look beautiful like on paper and everything. And fucking all power to that, because every time it's looked beautiful on paper, it's been lit to a flame in 7 games for the last 7 years. I don't care
Mhm.
about the paper anymore. Just show me guys that have like a beating heart, and that when they're on the ice, they don't care if they're better or worse than the guy in front of them. They don't see the name. They're just like, how do I win?
Mhm.
How do I win? Next man up, go. That's how that's how it should be.
Exactly.
Anyways, yeah.
Okay, let's talk deadline. Now, I am not in favor of trading Nick Robertson because I think he's actually be a really fun player. However, if there was ever one player I think I would happily say goodbye to Nick Robertson for,
Rasmus
I think
Anderson.
it'd be okay. Well, yeah, obviously Robertson answering, but if I'm saying like forward for forward, Frank Petrano. What do we think?
That won't happen.
It won't happen. But what do you think of like Nick Robertson and the first for Petrano? Like, that's some really solid depth scoring. Suddenly your lineup looks like McMahon, Tavares, Vatrano.
Dude, I
Come
want
on.
a partner for Riley.
I want
like
a
I
partner
don't
for Riley too. I know. I'm just going with the forward first. But, like, do you hate it? Do you hate Vatrano? If it
no.
costs the assets to take a
No, I
set to
think
get the
I
defenseman, I hate
I
it. But if it
I
doesn't,
think I just think it'll cost too much be in the sense if that's what we needed, I get it.
but it's not.
I
It's
want a
just like
pairing
it'd be a
for
luxury.
Riley. Yeah,
Okay, so
exactly.
let's talk pairings for Riley. So the Athletic put out an article. It's from Jonas Siegel, February 27th. Maple Leafs defense trade targets 2.0. Who should Toronto be chasing? First one on the list, most logical fits.
Chris Tanev.
Will Borgen from Seattle. What do you think of Will Borgen's game?
I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you.
I know you have no clue who he is, but he's he
No, I
makes
do. I know he's like a
like he's
slight
this guy.
he's like an upgraded Simon Benoit.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, he makes 2.7 million in the against the cap. He's 27 years old, and like he's been Jamie Alexiak's partner, so like he could fit that role of the Shen Labushkin type mold. I just think it's a little bit more risky, and I think because it's more risky, it's cheaper.
Adam Larson,
I wouldn't hate it. Adam Larson's also expensive, but
50%
he is on the
retained.
list. Yeah, he's on the list. Hannafin's on the list. I'm not sure if I want Hannafin. I'm not sure if he's the guy. If he comes with a contract extension, then sure, maybe.
Go and find another Jake McCabe deal.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it.
So
Get a guy who's not a rental, so you don't throw assets in the fire. Get a guy that, if all goes to shit, still has more than nothing value because he still has a contract.
mhm.
And that's why they just have to like going like
That's why
I say
like
that
I'm
Morrison,
not
for example.
like I love the Tanev fit, but I'm not a fan of the trade. Like that to me, that's not the Jake McCabe trade. He's
No, because
34 and
if
he
he gets
doesn't
hurt,
have
it's done.
term.
If he gets hurt, like we literally gave you everything for free. Like we got
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
Kind of will re-sign with the Flames for all I know. He probably won't, but you get what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it's. I want to get a guy that like the McCabe deal, and I'm sure a lot of us last year were like, "What?" Jake McCabe, and he had his moments. Dude, this year, Jake McCabe, like, what?
No,
Bro,
I
easily
always knew
one
this
of
was
our
the type of
best and
player he
most
was.
important defensemen. It's not even close. It's not even
Yeah,
close.
yeah, I knew this was the type of defenseman he was. I was always excited for that because to me,
It's
when I saw that, I was like, oh, we just got Jake Muzzin back. Cool. Because that's basically
it's
what he's
the
been.
guy. It ain't pretty, and it works.
Yeah. Okay, so Adam Larson, as you mentioned, he's making $4 million, and he has another year after this. So what do you think?
50% retained. You give.
You give your
See,
first.
in a trade like that, that's probably where Robertson leaves, though. If we do that,
Not necessarily though, because like you could throw in like Alex Steves or Topi Niemela or something like that. Like you're already throwing in your first, right?
leaves.
Like who knows? Who
I mean,
knows what
Kraken
you
could.
that's the thing. You don't know what Seattle values. That's the thing. Like
Adam
they could look at
Larson
Robertson and be like, yeah,
definitely.
no, we don't want him. Too small.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, that's true. Especially they are in the West, which is I don't even know about that anymore. If it's I feel like the whole league has just like grown in that matter, like overall. But
So
it's
now
it's yeah.
that's the more like the flashier name, the more expensive name, like the attractive name. How about like a cheaper name, one that we've seen that actually works?
Labushkin.
How about Ilya Labushkin? How about that? Like we know it works. We know he's cheap. We know he's not going to cost a first. I mean, he shouldn't cost a first. He is making 2.75, but he does not have term. That's the thing. So that's the temporary just for this year, which you don't like, but we know it works. So I don't know if you're going to make an exception on that because then next year you're just in the same place of like, okay, got to get
That's
Riley
what I'm
Barton.
saying. That's what I mean. It's like where you like get someone who will actually like there's Toronto's not good enough to just make rentals. They're
Yeah.
not they're not the Stars, they're not the Rangers, they're not like you know what I mean? Like they're just under that. That's what I'm saying. Like they're competing, they're very competitive, they have a shot, they're not among the best. You can't afford to just make rentals. You need to make a trade where like it's a rental, but you also still have him next year. So like you can't just throw assets, like you can't just
You need a guy
fully
with at
go
least
all
one
in,
more year.
right? And like you can't just
So
go all in. Like you need find another Jake McCabe. Do I know who that is? No. I'm not the
not your
GM,
job.
not my job. I don't make 5 million to do that. I get paid 25 bucks an hour and I love it. I get to rip cards and all of that. I love it. I'm not the GM, not what I'm paid for. That's for you to find out. Go and find him. How? Not my job. It's not my job. Like that's dude,
Here's
we
another
have to
one.
stop treating the like look, at the end of the day, everyone who talks shit about Brad Treliving and Kyle Dubas and this and that and the other thing, I would do this, I would do that. We all think we're playing GM Connected on NHL 14. That's not how this works. I don't know the right move. You don't know the right move. We have ideas, but all of the shenanigans of the cap and the this and that, that's not what we're paid for. I want the GM to go and find the Jake McCabe. You figure it out. That's your job. I don't care how you do it. I am willing to trust that you are doing a better job than I am. Did I like the Jake McCabe trade last year? No. Am I very happy with it now? Yeah. What does that prove? I
You
shouldn't
didn't
be a
like the
GM.
wait, well, hang on. You didn't like the trade?
I wasn't like, oh my God. Dude, now I'm like, holy shit, that was a great trade. Back then I was like, oh, okay, Jake McCabe. I mean,
Not familiar with this game.
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. So it's like, go find that guy. I don't care who
So
it is. Get a guy who's going to be in there. I don't care about, you were saying before, like the attractive name. Fuck that. I don't care about the attractive name. Go and get, like, you know what? Screw the 2022 Hyundai Elantra. Just release this, that, the other. Go and get the Toyota Corolla 2014. So it works. It's nice. It's not bad. It gets you to point A to point B. It's not the shittiest box or the shittiest car on the road. Go get it. Sure. I
okay,
don't care.
so
Don't need
by your
flashy.
definition, the Toyota Corolla 2014, that's looking like Will Borgen. Not
Sure.
attractive,
Yeah.
He's got
I'm
turn.
not familiar with his game. I'll be honest with you. Like I don't
You
watch the
weren't with Jake
Kraken.
McCabe either.
So you know what? If that's the move, go for it. That's what I want. I just want that. That's really find me more McCabe's. I want more pairings to be like the McCabe and the McCabe, because now we have like the more offensively coordinated line, which is like Liljegren, Brody. I think they're like people underrate their offensive capability.
No, they're great at moving the puck. They're great at moving the puck.
Yeah,
Brody
moving the
can't
puck.
shoot, but
They
that's
facilitate exits is more
fine.
like Simon Benoit. Like, yeah, he's a doorknob with the puck. He's not supposed to be good with it. I don't expect him to be good with it. He's not even
Dude.
that bad.
Yesterday, he had like 4 offensive chances out of nowhere.
But like, I know, I see. Like to me, it's like that's not what I know you for. I know you for being the hard, heavy-nosed, like you're like the true, like you're like the honest worker on the team. That's what I look at you as, and I love it. I love Simon Benoit. I love that.
The thing with Jake McCabe, who I love so much, and the reason I love him so much, I think by far, easily, he's the most well-rounded defenseman we have. He's fantastic defensively. McCabe, he's the most well-rounded defensive we have. He's fantastic defensively. He will join the rush, and he will shoot offensively. I think he's got like 3 or 4 goals right now. And he will lay the body. And he is not afraid to do that, and he doesn't give up much position or gap to do that.
He's hard nosed.
So you don't put yourself you don't put yourself in a bad position to make a hit. You're in my good books. Benoit's done great at that. McCabe's done great at that. Fantastic.
Dude, McCabe's been good enough that there should be people buying his jersey.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like that, oh, you're saying he's like top of the line. No, like what I'm saying is like guys like this are so underrated on a team like Toronto. I don't need another goal scorer. We have the best one in the league. We don't need another playmaker. We have one of the top playmakers in the league.
Guys like this are how Tampa won back-to-back cups. This is Ryan McDonagh.
That's a little bit of a stretch, but yes, I get where
Ryan McDonagh in his peak. Ryan McDonagh had a little bit more offense, but like when he played with Tampa, he was.
I think McDonagh was just like better. I think McDonagh was just like
better, but same type.
I get what you're saying though. I get what but it's those. It's the guys that are not your top, but play the top of the matchup they're against, and so. Again, that's what I'm saying. Go and find the guy. Because, look, Riley is not the best in his own zone. He's not. Neither was Erik Karlsson. Go and find the Mark Methot, who is good and underappreciated because he's not flashy. He's simply the honest worker on that line and is so much more valuable to that line than people think. Because you take Mark Methot away from Erik Karlsson, and Erik Karlsson now looks like a pylon in his own zone. That shit looks great offensively. Great. Looks like a pylon in his own zone. He's a defenseman. He needs to be good in his own zone. Find him. Find the combination. Again, not my job. Go figure it out. That's not
man. See, you know what sucks is we had that guy, and then Brad didn't want to re-sign him, and maybe he got overpaid. But like, would you be like complaining about Luke Schenn on this team for 2.75 until 2026? I wouldn't. We wasted money on Klingberg.
How much?
2.75 for the next 2 years.
3.75?
No, it's 2.75. The 3 is the term.
I want more than that.
You want more?
I get
than
it.
Schenn?
I think he's good. We've seen it, and he was useful. I want we need something more than that. Like to be like this is what I'm saying. Like I know we're not cup contenders, we're not at the top of the list. We need to make actual move. And look, Luke Schenn left after last season. That's what I'm saying. Find the guy we're actually gonna have. I don't want a rental. We're not to that point yet. We haven't earned the right to think that we can just go and get rentals. It's not the level we're at. We're in the middle of the pack.
It wasn't a rental. Brad just didn't re-sign him. So he just went where the money was.
He was a rental. Then therefore he was.
Well, yeah, okay. Last year he was a rental, yeah, but he didn't have to be. He could have resigned.
He didn't have to be, but I don't even want the guy with the option to. You see what I mean? Where it's Jake McCabe was never a rental because he was always going to play this season.
Yeah,
go find that guy. Not a guy that you're going to get. You're going to lose assets to, which I don't think are. Look, this year for the Leafs, I don't expect them to. I don't think they're a true. I would love to see it. You know me. The moment the playoffs start, I'm going full unrealistic. Anyone has a chance. Anyone does that. That's true. Anyone does have a chance. You don't know how teams match up against each other. Everyone has a
Just
chance.
get in, and that's it. So you got to worry about.
Fuck around and find out, pretty much. So, yeah, we have a chance. So do like the team in 8th place in the Western Conference, the same way the Kraken beat the Avalanche last year in the first round. Like, yeah, anything can happen, but it's like being smart about it. Don't screw up next year just because you're being like overzealous this year. Like, play it smart. It's the little moves like the McCabe's where it's like that little extra value of that extra year goes such a long way and makes you not only have a player you can use who's very useful, it allows you to save assets. Can you imagine we had to go and get a Jake McCabe because we didn't have one? There goes assets. The more assets you give up now, the worse you get in the future. I mean, that's just how it works. And the better you get now. Are we good enough to go full push right now? Yes, I think we have to push because, yes, we have one of the greatest goal scorers on one of the greatest runs we've seen. Don't waste that. But I'm also saying you can't just throw out the future and go all in. You're just not there yet. You need for them give them a little bit of like an assistance, but they have to do that if they want to do that.
Do you recall? Oh my God! Do you recall when we gave up for Jake McCabe?
Was it a first that we flipped for Engvall?
It was a 2025 conditional first, a 2026 second, Joey Anderson and Pavel Gogolev. Like,
okay, those last two don't care. What's the condition?
It was a conditional 2025 first round pick. I'm not sure what the condition is. Hang on, I'll find that out.
After this, but like, it's not even an hour. That's insane. Time flies.
That's such a good trade.
It was great.
Yeah, and because we got McCabe at 50% retention, so he makes 4. Now he makes 2 for us.
Adam Larson makes 4, then he makes 2. Stays the next year.
You don't want Will Borgen. You want Adam Larson.
No, but even like I'm saying, like I care more about the term than I do about the name. You know what I mean? Like, I want a guy that, like, okay, he's actually on our team now. That's really what I care about, because I, again, don't think we are in a position to just go for it all this year and then lose it next year, and then we're screwed out of next year too. I think you give it a shot, but like also, you know, kill 2 birds with one stone.
When you said you want more than Will Borgen, you were talking about his 1 year left. You want more years.
Yes. I want 2 years, not 4.
I thought you were talking about you want a better player than Borgen.
No. Like I just don't. I don't want just a rental. And if we're gonna need to pay more, yes, I get it. It's worth more. He has a contract, but you're paying more. But if you think about it, you're paying half, because if you're gonna pay a bit less this year and a bit less next year, but then you add those 2 together, you end up paying more anyway.
Yeah.
So people
the
don't
condition on the condition on the first was it's top 10 protected. And it would slide to 2026 if it is top 10. So, like, it's a God trade. Do that again, please.
It's fine. Don't mind. On that note, we're going to wrap it up here. It's been an hour. Yeah, we definitely have to get on another episode, clearly, because the only reason I'm ending this is because it's at an hour, not because we don't have more to talk about.
For sure, man.
Yeah. Well, maybe even next week, right before the deadline or right after. We'll see. All right. But appreciate you being here. Guys, if you don't already know, check this man out on TikTok, Leafs Fan MD. He's awesome. I mean, you see, he's got the knowledge. Not everyone likes his takes because not everyone can handle them, but they are very solid.
Those are my motto right there.
To anyone who's been,
you don't like my takes, you can't handle.
Yeah, you can't handle them. You can't do it. It's not for you. But yeah, to anyone who's been listening up to this point, make sure to drop a like, hit the subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, coming days we'll find out. We'll see everything come to fruition. Take care, guys.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with That Leafs Fan on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.